All right, I'm sitting my butt down here on my bed today and I'm filming a Q&A because I suck at doing Q&As. I always tell you guys on Instagram, like, look, I'm gonna do a Q&A, send me your questions, and then I never sit down to film them. So I'm sorry, I apologize, I'm working on it. If you guys are new here, by the way, first of all, let me introduce myself because things are probably gonna get weird around here. I'm Kayla, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I am 25 weeks pregnant, 26 weeks pregnant, sorry. I can't even keep track because this is my second pregnancy. I already have one baby and apparently this second pregnancy is like, it's just going by so fast. I don't even have time to like pay attention to it. I feel so bad. But yes, I am 26 weeks pregnant with baby number 2, with baby boy. This is my big old bump. Huge, I know, don't judge me. And then Riley is my toddler who's 20 months old. She's not quite 2 yet, she'll be 2 in December. And yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom to her. I will soon be a stay-at-home mom to 2 babies, and I film YouTube videos. I vlog our life. So if you guys want to see what it's like to deal with the chaos of being a mom with crazy little humans, I would love to have you here on my channel. If you're not subscribed already, hit that red subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and give this video a big thumbs up if you like these kind of like sit down, chatty Q&A videos. So let's just get started. So here's a question that I got asked yesterday in my DMs. So it says, hi Kayla, I was watching the video you posted today and Riley seems like such a good baby, and today my 18-month-old has me in tears. Do you ever feel this way? How do you discipline her? First of all, my child is not a good baby. Do you hear that? That's her crying because she just woke up from her nap. My mom is watching her, by the way, in case you guys are wondering where she is. Jokes aside, for the most part, Riley is a fairly good baby. She's a normal baby. She's a normal toddler who has her good days and she has her bad days. I joke with my husband a lot because like it seems that her pattern is like she'll have one good day and then she'll have like one bad day, or she'll have 2 good days and then she has a bad day. I think the most that she's had is like maybe 2 good days, and when she's had 2 good days back to back, I'm like, brace yourself because tomorrow is gonna be a very bad day. There are certainly, I promise you that there are days when Riley leaves me in tears. There are days when I am just mentally taxed, exhausted, where like today, like I went to go get her out of her crib first thing in the morning. She was already being whiny, cranky. She's just like super whiny these days, and that drives me up the wall. There are days when she asks me for something, so she'll be like, can I have some leche, which is milk in Spanish, and I'll give her her leche, and then she'll start screaming at me, and I'm like, what the heck, child? I'm giving you what you asked me for. There are definitely those days where like nothing satisfies her and every little tiny thing bothers her, and that is just super frustrating as a mom because I'm like, what the heck can I do to get you to settle down and quietly play and just not be whiny? So yeah, given that I'm home with her 24/7, it is difficult. And I know that I post on Instagram a ton and I'm showing you stories, and there are plenty of times when Riley is good and she is content and she is playing and she's learning her ABCs and learning how to count. But I think it's perfectly normal that a toddler is gonna have some good moments and some bad moments. Don't take it personally. That's what I've tried to do lately, is to just like not see it as a personal attack to me as her mother, even though sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes I really engage in like this power struggle with her because I'm like, what the heck, I'm telling you to do something, do it, like do it. Then I have to remember that she's like not even 2 yet and she doesn't understand. So that has been something that I've been working on as a new mom. Hang in there, mama, I promise. As far as how I discipline her, right now, I don't know. I don't know how to discipline my child. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know down below. Let's help each other out. For the most part, when she has like a very like physical tantrum, because she definitely has those. She has those days where she'll throw herself on the floor and kick and scream. I'm not about to get attacked by a tiny little human. Like, no. That's not okay. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just leave her there on the floor, because before I used to like try to pick her up and try to like calm her down, and I have learned that that will get me slapped in the face. So I'll just like kind of like leave her on the floor and just let her settle down. Sometimes I'll walk away, sometimes I will just leave the room, obviously keeping an eye on her, making sure she's not like doing something awful. And eventually it seems like she just snaps out of it. Eventually she gets bored. Eventually she wants to go back to playing with her toys. So right now that's kind of the extent of what we've been doing. The one thing I will say is like, if she does like actually physically hit me or like try to hurt me, injure me, I will hold her arms down and I'll say no. I'll say, we do not hit mama, we do not hit, that's ugly, because like no, that's like something that I definitely don't want to encourage or let her think that that's okay. But we haven't done like the timeout thing yet. We haven't really done like consequences, because I'm not sure that she even understands that yet. The next question is kind of specific, but it has to do with sleep training and how I stopped night feedings. So first of all, I get asked so many questions about sleep training and how I got Riley to sleep through the night. I do want you guys to know, if you're newer here on my channel, that I have a whole sleep training series here on my channel, and I will try to link those videos down below, because I go into full-on detail on like why we sleep trained her, and then I have a whole video diary on like the actual process, like that whole week that we were sleep training. I documented it, and I think that that's been helpful for some people to see that. Again, I know that sleep training is not for everyone. I'm not here to convince you that it is, but if it's something that you're thinking about, just go watch those videos. Up until Riley was 6 months old, I kid you not, she was sleeping in my bed. We were co-sleeping. She was waking up every 30 minutes to suck on my boob, basically. That's what was happening. And it got to the point where I was like, I'm not sleeping, I'm not doing well, this is not the best situation. And then that's when we decided to sleep train. So as far as how did we stop night feedings, I literally just stopped. As soon as we started sleep training, we had consulted with her doctor, and we just made sure that it was okay for her to not get that middle of the night feed. And the doctor said she was fine, her weight was fine, and then we just did the sleep training. And as soon as she started sleeping those hours straight through the night, I think she started sleeping from like 8 o'clock at night to 8 in the morning, more or less. Just didn't offer her a nursing session at night because she was asleep. The next question I have is, how did you know you were ready for a second baby? I thought I was ready for a second baby. I really thought I was. These days, as this child is about to exit me soon, I'm kind of freaking out. I'm kind of like, holy crap, this is real. I'm soon gonna have to take care of 2 humans. In all honesty, I had always wanted my kids to be close in age. And I personally would love to have 4 children. I want a big family. I want to raise good kids. I want to contribute to the world and teach my kids how to be good human beings, because it seems like there's just a lot of crappy human beings out there. So yeah, I want 4 kids. Hopefully that'll happen. But we'll see. It's obviously up to God. It's his plan. But because I knew that I wanted a big family and I wanted them close in age, I had always kind of said that as soon as Riley turned 1, that's when we were gonna start trying. And I kind of made that 1-year figure my mark, because I didn't know how long it would take me to get pregnant with baby number 2. I know that there's so many women that struggle with getting pregnant, and it could have taken me 6 months, maybe even a year to get pregnant with baby number 2. So I wanted to just start as early as I could. That way I wasn't like super frustrated if it was taking a little bit longer. Luckily for us, we got pregnant within 3 months of trying, and that's where we're at now. I also just don't think, I don't know, like, I don't think I was ever ready for even having 1 baby, and I don't really know that I'm ready for baby number 2. I just know that I love being a mom. I love my child. Like, this whole chapter of my life right now, as stressful as it is, as frustrating as it can be at times, as overwhelming as it can be, like, I love it. I live for it. This is what I was made to do, and I know that so deeply inside of me. Like, I know that this is what I was made to do. And so I just figured that we'd get to it. I'm 29 also, so I didn't want to wait till I was like much older, because if I'm gonna have 4 kids, I would like to be done with this whole childbearing situation before like my mid-30s. So the timing seemed right for us. We're in a position where we can afford it, where we can do it. Joe's also on board with having a big family, and he's getting old too. He's like 35 years old. He's 7 years older than me, and I don't want him to be like 50 years old chasing after like a tiny little baby. So yeah, that's kind of how we know. Somebody asked me the other day, did you go to college? So did I go to college? Am I at all educated? Do I have a degree? Yes, I did go to college. I got a bachelor's degree right after high school. I studied healthcare administration, and then I worked full-time at a hospital. And while I was working full-time at a hospital, I also got my master's degree. I got a master's degree in public administration, and I specialize in HR. And today I use none of that. So life is a funny thing. I think I've talked actually about like my untraditional career path and like all the different things that I've done, but I did work in the healthcare setting. My most recent job before I got pregnant with Riley and then stopped working was in marketing. I worked as a social media manager. I was also a copywriter. So I've kind of done a whole bunch of stuff. When I was in healthcare, I worked in research, I worked in clinical trials, we worked with the FDA, done a whole bunch of random things. And then today I have YouTube, which is my business. I do make money for my family with YouTube, and I also have my blog. I've been blogging for almost 8 years. I think in January it's 8 years, and I make money through my blog and stuff. I do have videos on all of that and how to make money as a stay-at-home mom if you guys are interested. But yeah, I did go to college. I did all of the group projects. I did all of the research papers. I did all of that. And now I don't use my degree. Here's one thing that I get asked a lot that I'm not gonna answer, but I wanna tell you guys to maybe stop asking me. I get a lot of questions on Instagram about like medical stuff. Like I get asked on Instagram sometimes, like, my kid is sick, what do I give them? Or like, what do you think this is? I am not a doctor. I just want to put that out there. I am not a doctor. I am not trained. I am not the person to come to asking for medical advice. I love you guys. I will help you out with anything else that has to do with motherhood or just, I don't know, surviving this life. I can't answer questions like with good conscience about what to give your child. I can tell you sometimes like what has worked for Riley in the past for certain things, but do not come to me as your doctor. You have a doctor for that. All right, so these are things that you guys are asking me like right now in real time. So please share how you budget for things like groceries, bills, etc. Since I posted that super productive day in the life vlog where I talked about like doing our bills and our cash envelopes and all of that, you guys are now very interested in that. And I'm so happy that you guys want to know about budgeting stuff, because that's what I live for. Like I'm super nerdy. I love all of that stuff having to do with money and budgeting and all of that. So I will be having a full series on my channel here soon with some like more financial tidbits, I guess. But in the meantime, if you guys want to know how we manage our finances and a little bit about the cash envelope system, that video will be linked down below in the description box, along with all the other videos that I'm mentioning. That will tell you a little bit about how we do things. But I will go a little bit more into detail soon, I promise. What fertility tracker app did you use when trying to conceive? So when we were trying to conceive, I was using an app called Period Tracker, and really all I would do was like plug in the day that I started my period, and then it would tell me like what my most fertile days were according to the app, and then I could put like a little heart on whatever day like Joe and I were intimate. It wasn't a super fancy app, but honestly, like my biggest tip if you're trying to track your fertility is to go out and buy those ovulation tests. That's something I didn't do just because we got pregnant so quickly, but had I not gotten pregnant as quickly as we did, I would have started going and buying the ovulation trackers, like the actual ovulation test, because I think that's gonna give you a much more accurate like view of like when your fertile days are. An app is really just going to give you like an average of what your cycle usually looks like. And if you're really trying to conceive, if you're really trying to make it happen, I think that you need to be a little bit more accurate about those fertile days. So I was using that period tracker. You can look into it, but I also highly recommend the ovulation test. All right, somebody said starting Cry It Out with my 9-month-old tonight. Any tips? Again, watch those sleep training videos. I do have one that's all about tips and tricks and things that worked for Riley. Blackout curtains are one of those things. Highly recommend blackout curtains in your little one's room, so that way it's really dark in there, the light doesn't disturb them, but at the same time I did use like a little night light with Riley so it wasn't pitch black in there. And having a routine at nighttime with your little one is also super important. So like having a nighttime bedtime routine that really like sets the tone for the night, that winds them down, that I've found is really important. This is so funny. So you see the next one is, how hard was it to sleep train and handle the crying? It was hard. It was hard. If you look at that video diary, there were definitely tears shed on my part because nobody wants to hear their little one cry. Nobody, like to this day, when Riley cries, it kills me. It kills me inside. I do not take joy, does not give me pleasure to hear her cry. On the contrary, I want her to not be crying. I want her to be super happy all the time. But I think for me, like knowing deep down inside that this was the best decision that we could make for her, the fact that she needed to sleep, that she was not sleeping, that the situation of her being in my bed and stuff was not safe, was not the best for anyone. That's what kind of helped me to get through it. And having a partner there with me helped, like having Joe do it with me and all of that helped, but it was definitely still hard. It was not an easy process by any means. When would you like baby number 3? Girl, chill. Chill the F out. Honestly, this baby will hopefully be here in December, and then we have all of the craziness of the fact that we're moving to Virginia. So the fact that I'm gonna be in Virginia by myself with no family with 2 little ones is stressing me out so badly, like you guys don't even know. But the plan is to be in Virginia for a few years, 3-4 years, hopefully. As soon as I can get back closer to family, that is our goal. Our goal is to move back closer to family. And once that happens, I think that's when we'll be in a better position to have baby number 3. So I know that probably the spacing between baby number 2 and 3 is gonna be a little bit like, you know, longer than the spacing between Riley and this one. But that's okay. I kind of like joke with Joe that like we'll have like team A, which is Riley and this baby, and then later on we'll have team B of our kids, which will be the 3rd and the 4th baby. But we'll see, like you make all these plans and like the saying goes, like God laughs in your face and is like, here you go, now you've got like triplets next time. I'll have to see what happens, but at least for now, I'm not like trying to even think about that. How do you manage time for yourself, family time, and time for you and your husband? I don't know. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. And even when I think I have it like good, even when I think that things are going fine, then life throws a hurdle in front of you and it gets more difficult. Really try to like think about what things really bring me joy, like things that I enjoy doing, things that make me happy, and I try to insert some of those things throughout my day. So like right now it's the fall season, and you know what, simple things like lighting a candle that smells like a pumpkin makes me happy, or eating a freaking like pumpkin loaf, like that makes me happy. Taking a bubble bath, that's something that always, like, I just love being in a bubble bath. Those are things that I enjoy, and so I don't maybe get to do those things every single day, but I try to sprinkle them in throughout my week, and I try to make that a priority, because if I'm not intentional about those things, the time just gets away from me and I never get around to doing that. So I do think that it's important to prioritize some of those things that you really enjoy, if that's, you know, going out for a walk, or if that's reading a book, or if that's just watching Grand Hotel on TV. Like, schedule those things for yourself. And then as far as family time and time with my husband, I mean, family time, I'm with Riley all day, so I get a lot of Riley. I do think it's still important to have family time like Joe, Riley, and I, and so whenever Joe's not working, like on the weekends, we'll try to do a fun activity together, or we'll set up the little like kiddie pool outside, or we'll inflate her bounce house. And even if it's just like a couple hours, it's like time that we're spending together that's a little bit just more exciting than just sitting on the couch and watching Riley play with her toys. We don't get out a ton, like honestly, we don't get out a ton because Joe works a lot. We also like try to save money, and we're not like the kind of people that are like taking a trip every 2 weeks, but we will try to like look at the month as a whole and kind of say like, okay, what's going on this month? What are the key things that we want to do? And so like this month, we want to take Riley to a museum. There's like this beautiful museum here in Miami that we're going to take her to, that we think that she'll have a lot of fun at. So even if it's just like one of those things, like we don't have to do them every single weekend, but just every once in a while doing things like that. And then as far as time for me and Joe, like we have been trying to do a date night a month. So we definitely don't do date night every single week, but one of the things that we budget for is one date night a month, and we set aside money so we can do that. And we'll drop Riley off at my parents' house and we'll go eat dinner. All right, so the next question is something that I have gotten so many questions about lately. This person saying, how is Riley so advanced? Literally gonna follow every step you do. Riley surprises me every single day. And that's one of the reasons why like I love this age, because like every day I see her doing something new. And I mean, she's my kid. I guess I'm biased, but I think she is a little bit advanced. I think she's doing well. If you guys don't follow us like on Instagram, I'm always showing you guys like she has learned all of her colors. She's counting to 10. She's learning her ABCs now, and she seems to be a very smart, curious kid, which I love that about her. I think it's so much fun. She has always been very verbal. Started talking and like saying animal sounds and doing a lot of verbal stuff very early on. But at the same time, something that I like to remind you guys is that like she also was very much kind of like behind when it came to like her motor skills. So like she didn't walk, she didn't take her first steps until she was 15 months old. And like she still can't like feed herself her food like from start to finish. Like her puree, when she tries to feed herself, she makes a mess. So every kid is different. Every kid is gonna have their strengths and their weaknesses. So I don't want anybody to like ever feel bad about their kid. If you're ever concerned about your child's vocabulary or how much they're saying and stuff like that. Again, consult with your doctor, consult with a speech therapist. I don't know what's normal because this is my first child. Like what I'm seeing Riley do, I'm kind of assuming is normal. And then you guys are telling me like, oh, like what are you doing to teach her these things? Like my kid doesn't do that. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm just doing the stuff that I think I'm supposed to do. I do have a video that I will link down below that is like how I teach my 1-year-old to talk. And I showed you guys like a lot of the activities that I would do with her when she was even younger, to kind of get her to say stuff. But right now, a lot of what I do is just like I am in her face all day long. Like we are together all day long and I'm constantly taking every opportunity to ask her, you know, what color is that? Or can we count these little animals? And like I'm constantly quizzing her, and maybe she thinks that's super annoying, but like it is what it is. And she watches a lot of TV. I tell you guys all the time, she watches so much TV. I don't care if you don't like it, don't let your kid watch TV if you don't want them to watch TV. But Riley watches a lot of TV. I don't have a problem with screen time. She watches a whole bunch of like super educational shows on YouTube even. Like these days I'll go on YouTube and I'll search, in the search bar I'll be like, you know, learn colors or learn ABCs. And a whole bunch of these videos come out that she loves to watch, and she's literally sitting there learning stuff. This one is a follow-up to how did you know you're ready for baby number 2? This person is asking if one of us were ready before the other. So like, was my husband ready before I was? I honestly think I was ready before he was, but he didn't like need a lot of convincing. Like for the most part, my husband is good. My husband is like an angel, and for the most part, like when I tell him that I want something, he for the most part agrees with me. I will say though, I've talked about before here on my channel, like the realities of trying to conceive and like the fact that it was mentally hard to deal with the whole like trying, because I definitely wanted it more than he did. Not that he didn't want it, but that I was more in a hurry. I was more in a rush, whereas he was kind of like, if it happens, it happens. And then there were definitely times where we kind of like butt heads about that, where I wanted to take more of like a, I don't know, more physical approach on trying to conceive, and he was kind of like, why are we scheduling time to have sex and stuff like that. So that was kind of hard, given that we were a little bit not on the same page about that. But as far as like wanting a second baby, we both wanted it. It was just I wanted it a little bit sooner. Like I wanted it to happen quicker. He had a little bit more patience. Will you be filming a baby names you love but won't be using video? Maybe I will do that. I've definitely done a girl one before, and it's here on my channel. You can search for it. Like if I do one that has a boy name, I probably won't share like my top 2 boy names in that video, just because I'm probably not going to share the name of our baby until the baby is here. But I love those baby name videos, and I actually did have a very long list of names for boys. Joe and I didn't really agree on a lot of boy names, so that's what kind of made it hard to name this child. But there are so many baby boy names that I love, so I'd be happy to make a video on that. Did you recommend washing all your newborn clothes with baby safe detergent? You know, with Riley, I did. With Riley, when she was born, like before, when we were getting all her stuff ready, we washed all her stuff with Dreft, and I liked it. I liked how it smelled. I thought it was a very safe detergent to use. These days, we use a whole bunch of different stuff. We use like all free and clear, I think is normally what I use for Riley's stuff. But I have washed her clothes in just like regular Tide, and she's still fine. She's still breathing. So I mean, when they're like newborn, like straight home from the hospital, if you wanted to take that extra precaution and use something super simple and very like not that many ingredients and stuff, yeah, sure, why not? If you can afford the extra couple bucks it's gonna cost you, then I would say do that. But I try to remember, again, the fact that we grew up in a time where there was no such thing as Dreft, and we were smothered in chemicals, and we're all here. We're all here. Biggest struggle with being pregnant and having a toddler. And I feel like this is probably gonna have to be the last one I answer, and maybe I'll do a part 2 if I get a ton more questions, but like I can't be here like all day. But the biggest struggle with being pregnant and having a toddler is, I've talked about it a little bit more before, but I feel like nobody cares that I'm pregnant. I feel like my husband doesn't care that I'm pregnant. I feel like no one cares. And I don't mean that, like I know that my husband loves me, and I know that He is so happy that I'm carrying his child, and I know that everyone is very happy that I am pregnant, but it's just not the same as when I was pregnant with Riley. With Riley, I felt like I was treated like a queen. Do not do anything. I didn't have to carry a single bag. Like, everyone did everything for me, and I just had it really good. Like, I just had it really easy, and I got to come home and relax after a long day at work and just chill and eat ice cream. And now that I have Riley, I can't do any of that. I am exhausted. Physically, this is the most exhausted that I have ever been in my life, because it's not like I'm pregnant and I'm taking care of like a little newborn that's like sitting there on the couch and does nothing. I am pregnant, which means that I'm already like super exhausted, and I'm chasing after Riley. Like, Riley is nonstop. Every 2 seconds, it's, I want food, I want milk, I want a snack, or she's like crawling under the baby gate and escaping to the other side of the house, and I have to jump over the baby gate and I have to go find her. It is a very physically demanding job to be home with a toddler and to entertain her and to take her places and to fill up her little kiddie pool and to take her to the pool and to put her on the bounce house and to put her in her swing and to take her out of her swing and to bring out her slide. Like, there are so many things that go into caring for her. Even just like doing her bath time routine, like putting her in the bath, taking her out of the bath, you know, putting her clothes on. All of that is very physically taxing, and it's stuff that like I don't know that you can ever truly understand until you're there. Yeah, that is the hardest part. For me, the hardest part has been just the amount of energy that has been required of me to handle like being pregnant with a toddler, and I have none. And on top of that, I'm dealing with the fact that my cervix is short this pregnancy. So like, my doctors have already told me, like, you know, there's a risk for preterm labor and all of that, and like that's in the back of my mind. So the very last thing that I want to do is like exert myself too much or like do too much, and like everything that I do kind of scares me. Like, every time that I pick her up, or if I'm walking with her and I'm really tired, or you know, if I have to carry her for a long time, I'm like in the back of my head thinking, you know, am I hurting this baby? Is something gonna happen with this baby? So the physical demand has been the hardest. Mentally, I'm pretty much fine. You know, we'll figure it out. I'm very go with the flow. I'm not stressing too much, but my body is like shutting down. My body is like on shutdown mode, like serious shutdown mode. And honestly, I do think that it's gonna be easier. Like, I seriously think it's gonna be easier for me to take care of 2 children than to be pregnant taking care of a toddler. There's something that tells me, and you guys can be laughing at me while you're watching this if you have more than 1 kid, but I truly believe that if both of my humans are outside of the womb, like they're here, that I will be less stressed out, because I'll be like, okay, they're both fine, they're both healthy, and I'm not gonna be like stressing about what's happening to baby boy while I'm out here taking care of Riley. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's just how I feel. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. I hope that you guys got something out of this. Hope you guys got to know me a little bit better. I would love to do another one of these. So if you guys have more questions that you want me to answer, leave them down below or DM me on Instagram, and I will try to film a part 2. But I love it when you guys ask me questions. I love it when I get to see what you guys are most interested in. It just makes all of this whole YouTube thing so much more fun and engaging and interactive, because the last thing I want to do is just feel like I'm sitting in front of a camera talking to myself. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys a ton. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.